Somebody acting all serious stuff.
You don't tell people to fight. People don't speak.
Yeah.
Talking like this.
Exactly.
I'll be like, hey.
They nobody about. You know what? People, a lot of people die in New York. Yeah.
No, them people was killed just like we saying.
Oh man.
Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
No. Huh?
Yeah, we see it.
Oh, you see the screen?
Yeah, it's yep, we can see that. The science. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Good. All right. Let me go back some. All right. Now, this is what we were talking about, that every allegory, every parable, every mythology in which that you read, no matter if it's Greek mythology, Sumerian mythology, Egyptian mythology, the Bible, which is biblical mythology, Quranic, which is from the Holy Quran mythology, these are the three things that you must have within your story, in which that will help you get a greater understanding of what is taking place. These stories are talking about your body, the esoteric and the exoteric and metaphysical. So the inner and the outer, metaphysical. Your mind, which is consciousness, and the cosmic universe, which is dealing with astrology and astronomy. All right, so as above, so below, as within, so without. You'll have that. All right, and this is here is that this is to help our parents, our siblings, in order to bring them along, cause they claim that they read the Bible, but really they say they go by the Bible, well really they went by these verses, and you can see the verse clearly states, 1 Corinthians 3:16, do you not know that you are the temple of God and the Spirit of God dwells in you? If anyone defiles the temple of God, God will destroy him. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, or do you not know that your body is this temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and you're not your own, for you was bought at a price? And I'll show you that price in a minute. Therefore, glorify God in your body. So where's God? God is in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. 2 Corinthians 13:5. Or do you not know yourself that Jesus Christ is in you? So Jesus Christ is within you. God is in you. The Spirit of God is within you, which is the Holy Spirit. All three of these deities are within you. This is the Holy Trinity. 2 Corinthians 6:16-18, for ye are the temple of the living God, and God has said, I will dwell in them, walk with them, I will be their God, they shall be my people, I will be the Father to you, you shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty. So Jesus is not the only son, he's not the only child of God, there's sons and daughters of God too, as stated here. In fact, Psalms tell us this already. 46:5 says God is within her. So it says God is within her, and she will not fall. All right. 1 John 4:4. This is where Jay-Z get his 4:4 joint from. Is from greater is he within you than he that is in the world. All right. Oral Roberts used to say this every Sunday. Put your hands on the TV. Therefore, God exists within you, but you also exist in God. Just like the ocean is in a fish, while at the same time, the fish is in the ocean. All right? This has to be understood. So, God's temple, man's temple. Which one are you building? Well, it tells you in Acts 7:44-50, a tabernacle for the God of Jacob. But Solomon built him a house, howbeit dwells not in temples made with hands. So God does not dwell in temples made by man's hands. And said the prophet, heaven is my throne, earth is my footstool. what house will you build me? So what house are you building? Is it a physical building, temple, mosque, synagogue, sanctuary, or is it God's temple, which he already told you you are? Do you not know that you are the temple of God? Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you? So God's temple is what you should be building. All right? It says right here, what house will you build me, saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest? Has not my hands made all these things? So some people believe that a church is a temple of God, while others believe that a mosque is the temple of God. But this is the only true temple where the Spirit of God dwells, and that is actually within you and I. This is why they call the side of your head temples, because inside of these temples, which is on the side of your head, it houses God. All right? You will not find him in a king's palace or church or mosque built of stone. The center of your head is the temple. Temp equals or mean a place of worship. El equals the ancient Canaanite name for God, which is Temp-El, the place to worship God, is right in your mind. All right? And the throne of God is here, the pineal gland. Hold on, let me get a cord to plug up my computer. They both Capricorn, so they understand the Capricorn mentality. Exactly.
Yeah, the no Pisces, but y'all ever get along? I should have noticed that.
All right, so the pineal gland is a reddish gray gland that's about grass, a kernel of corn, or a shell pea. Hence, this is the origin of the term pea brain. It weighs about 50 to 150 milligrams, and the gland is most active during childhood, and within 5 to 15% Africans, 15 to 25% Asians, and 60 to 80% Europeans, it begins to atrophy around the age of 7 or so, and it becomes calcified by the time they're adults. So yes, when they show you basically we're all the same and children are just getting along, and they little kids about 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, yeah, because the pineal glands are open at that time. And yes, we don't know racism at that time. Racism doesn't exist, however, as them damn pineal glands begin to start atrophying and start to calcify, we can see the racism begins to start. All right, so if you get here, the human aura, astral colors, and thought forms by Swami Panchadasi, basically says, prana is not the mind or the soul, but rather the force or energy that which the soul manifests as activity and the mind manifests as thought. It is the stream that runs the physical and mental machinery of life. It is the substance of the human aura, and the colors of mental state are manifested in that substance, just as the colors of chemical bodies are manifested in the substance of water, but prana is not material substance. It is higher than mere matter, being the underlying substance of energy or force in nature. So prana is a type of energy, and we are supposed to fill in our melanin with this prana or energy, which is the force of nature. All right. Right here, how we know, because you get the book, The Science of Melanin, Dispelling the Myth by Tim Owen Moore, a good friend of mine, professor at Phelps State University. He's over the, he's the head psychologist over the psychology department at Phelps State, which is my wife and I alumni. We are alumni of there. And it basically says, in the third dimension, melanin acts as a semiconductor to transform energy. So that means that melanin is missing something. This is what people aren't telling us. Melanin is missing something. And there's two types of melanin, basically. You have eumelanin, which is what you have, and you have phenomelanin, which is what the European has. All right? Eumelanin is what you have. EU, MELANIN, eumelanin. And they have phenomelanin, ELANIN. All right, so the melanin is missing something. So when you continue reading, like the African origin of electromagnetism, he explained to a Nur-Ankh men who was here on the left, he explained to us what is missing. He said, as a semiconductor, melanin has an energy gap. Well, hold on. We just showed you that prana is the underlying substance of energy, or the force in nature. Okay? So that means we need to absorb more prana. Well, let's see. More energy. It says the absorption of energy is required before electrons can jump into the conduction band. Before. So that means that until that happens, you don't have superconductive melanin. You have semiconductor melanin. And this is the problem with most people who think that they don't have to do anything with melanin except, you know, just eat, sleep, shit, fuck, and go to work. There are 5 things that they do on a daily basis. But you have to absorb energy. Right, this
Real quick, doctor. What's the difference between eumelanin and phenomelanin? Who has what?
We have eumelanin. The El-Bey European have phenomelanin. The difference is that one has a stronger conduction and absorption than the other. Eumelanin has the supreme levels of absorption. All right, and I'll get to that in a second here. So, make melanin conductive. So right here it says, the absorption of energy is required before electrons can jump into the conduction band and make melanin conductive. So melanin isn't even conductive until you absorb melanin. So you have all these people running around talking about that they are mental magicians, that they are magi, that they can do magic and all of these things, and don't even absorb prana, or the energy which is required before the electron can jump into the conduction band.
Boom.
They're not doing Qigong, they're not doing Tai Chi, they're not doing Reiki, they're not doing pranic energy work. They're just mentally masturbating, saying that they can do such and such and such. A real magician is able to absorb prana. It's called pranayama, which I'll get to that in a second. So an increase in conductivity increases the sensitivity of melanin. All right. To the electromagnetic world of etheric beings, astral projections, and spiritual entities. So that explains on why people say, I'm a magician, I'm trying to do spiritual work, I'm trying to contact ancestors, spiritual entities, and so forth and so on. Well, you haven't absorbed enough energy for the electrons can jump into the conduction band that makes the melanin conductive and increases the conductivity and increases the sensitivity of the melanin to tap into the ancestral world or realm. In fact, when melanin is just a semiconductor, melanin is just a semiconductor, you operating at low frequencies. The conductivity of melanin is small. But at ultra high frequency, UHF, melanin is a superconductor. All right? I'm getting ready to tie everybody back in a second. All right, so this is UHF, ultra high frequencies. Now, some of y'all might not be old enough. You might not remember the TVs, which was analog TVs, and we had to turn from channel 2. Yeah, we had to actually get up and turn the channels ourselves. We had to turn it from channel 2 to channel 13. That gave us VHF, very high frequency. However, if you turn one more channel, which was the channel U, that is UHF, and at that level you was able to change the channel from channel 14 to channel 83. That was our cable before it became cable. All right. Now the Europeans here come straight out of this skull limped, in which that would be symbolic to sixth ether or very high frequency. However, in order to reach the conductivity band, as we just made mention of, so that you can get into the electromagnetic world of the etheric beings, the astral projection, and spiritual entities, the melanin must operate at ultra high frequencies, which is superconduction. And it can only become a superconductor is by melanin absorbing more energy through the absorption of energy. Well, that's the same thing with the hair follicles. So, if you remember, VHF gave you the rapid ear antennas, which were the two antennas that pulled out of each other, in which that was straight ear antennas. It's called the rapid ear antennas. Okay. Then they usually give us on the TV also a channel on the back, and with an antenna on the back, which was called the ohm antenna, OHM, ohm antenna. Now, the science is this, is that the ohm antenna happens to be the same sound that the Tibetan monks make, If you go and meet with the Tibetan monks, you will hear them chant Om. If you go to the Buddhist monks, you will hear Om. The Shaolin monks, you will hear Om. The yogi practitioners and monks, you will hear Om. All right, all the indigenous cultures of the various religions chant Om. Even Christians chant Om at the end of their prayers when they say Amen. All right. All of this is shown to us over and over and over again, that these are the sounds. And so these particular sounds take you into what is called the fourth dimension, in which they give you access to that additional energy that is required. This is when the electrons jump into the conduction band, all right, and make melanin conductive. Before then, you're not dealing with that same energy, because that energy made you become basically a incarnation of a god. You want to know the truth of it, because this is the energy in which that you be used in order to to move through this Maya, which is this illusion, this apparent reality, and make things happen and occur as you want them to, and not be a victim of someone else. Okay? So we know that melanin has its own DNA, and it's the most important substance in the human body, as stated. Carbon atom links to form melanin. So really, melanin is not on the periodical chart, only carbon, and then carbon is the sixth element on the periodical chart. All right? So carbon forms melanin. And it says melanin has black hole properties, which are found in space. Black hole properties. That's deep. All right. In 2008, my wife and I went to London, and we seen something which that was. I was on the radio show that Saturday. I was there from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we came back that Monday or Tuesday. But that Saturday, I was on the radio show that morning, and I spoke about the fact that melanin has black hole properties, and that light can escape a black hole because that is exactly what it's doing when melanin polarity is reversed, and we were able to move energy, which is via through is through Qigong, Tai Chi, Reiki, pranic energy work, any type of energy modality. All right? And so it's released by any one of those forms. So we can absorb energy, but also release it. Well, strangely enough, Stephen Hawkins had to have been listening to my broadcast, because that Monday he changed his whole philosophy about that light cannot escape a black hole. He changed it now to the light can escape a black hole. So obviously, we're right and exact with this information, dealing with carbon atom links to form melanin, which has black hole properties, which are found in space. In physics, the melanated body has the capability to be a perfect absorber and perfect radiator of light, of forms of light and energy. All right, melanin may be viewed as a battery. All right, so that means that it can always receive and accept an electrical charge, because it's only partially charged. Melanin is only partially charged. However, when sunlight, think about this now, when sunlight and other energies come in contact with the melanin battery, it increases the charge of the battery to a certain degree. Okay? So, when the energy is captured, what energy? Sunlight energy. Now I'll show you what other energies. The battery has now more energy to use in the body. Melanin can absorb a great amount of energy and yet not produce a tremendous amount of heat. This is the same as you will read about Moses and God in the burning bush. The bush was burning, but yet it was not consumed. All right, melanin has a great amount of energy, yet not produce a tremendous amount of heat when it absorbs this energy, because it can transform harmful energies into useful energies. This is what melanin can do. This means that the human body or human being can charge up their melanin. They possess the unique ability to absorb various energy sources and convert these absorbed energies into reusable energy. This includes mediums such as music, vibration, sound wave, sun rays, sun heat, light rays, and etc. According to Dr. Leo Edelstein, melanin can absorb tremendous quantities of energies of all kinds, including energy from sunlight, X-ray machines, and energy that is formed within the cell during metabolism of cells. He theorized that melanin has the ability to neutralize the potential harmful effects of energies. All right, so Dr. Frank Bohr's theory, he states that basically matter is shaped and structured by light, and that these molecular melanin combinations, all right, eats light. So this is a molecule here, and he's saying that this is why he said that it has black hole properties in melanin, because melanin, the molecular melanin combination, eats light in order to maintain, expand, and evolve matter. The more highly evolved a species, the more complex its biological capacity to use light. All right. By nature, melanin will be the greatest sun eater via you and I. And that makes sense because we talked about the fact that we can absorb these energies. Well, where are these energies coming from? Well, right here in this book, it says how 40,000 tons of stardust energy falls to the earth, affecting you and me. All right. Our bodies are made of remnants of stars and massive explosions in the galaxy, authors say. This infrared image, stellar wind from a great star causes interstellar gas to ripple. There are a lot of dust, which contains oxygen, carbon, iron, nickel, and all the other elements out there. Eventually, some of it finds its way into our bodies. So here it is, 40,000 tons of stardust energy falls, and some of this energy find its way in our body. All right. Now this is what it says. Astrophysicist Carol Chirijev, a senior fellow at the Lockheed Martin Solar and Astrophysics Laboratory, and his wife Iris Chirijev, professor of pathology at Stanford University, has joined the dots in a new book, and it's called Living with the Stars: How the Human Body is Connected to Life Cycles of the Earth, Planets, and the Stars. So you want to know how astrology, astronomy ties in to your physical existence? This book right here will help you with that. All right, so once again, 40,000 stardust particles fall to the planet Earth. But see, 40,000 is a low estimate. 40,000 is actually 40,000 to 300,000. All right, we are all well aware that solar flares, sent flashes of brightness that are gases, eruptions from the sun exist. And given the power of the sun, we probably all understand that when they release energy, it's tremendously hot, high energy particles, and the gases the surface of the sun. All right, is able to eject thousands of miles from the surface of the sun. In fact, the amount of energy it takes for a flare to shoot out is equivalent to approximately 160 billion megatons of TNT. In other words, intense. All right, so how do you know that as the electromagnetic field energies intensifies, as solar winds and flares interact with the Earth electromagnetic field, that we are also affected? Humans have electromagnetic fields.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, so humans are also affected by the solar flares, super flares, mega flares, energy in which that's coming in. Actually, it's 40,000 to 40,000 tons to 300,000 tons of energy that comes through during times of 11-year to 22-year cycles of the you have the sun, in which that comes through with these powerful coronal mass ejections, CMEs as they're called. All right, corona mass ejections, the corona. Right, that's the only corona that I want. Literally, it's from the sun. Right, from these CMEs. Right, these solar flares or winds, which interacts with the Earth electromagnetic field, which cause us to be affected. So humans have electromagnetic fields running through their bodies, which is why grounding works so well and is important. And others believe surrounding them called auras as well. And the meaning that is same way electromagnetic energies affects the Earth, it also affects us. Right. Now this is the same thing that even Neil deGrasse Tyson speaks of, astrophysics for people in a hurry. He says the atoms of our bodies are traceable to stars that manufactured them in the cores and exploded their rich ingredients across the galaxy billions of years ago. For this reason, we are biologically connected to every other living being, everything in the world. We are chemically connected to the molecules on Earth, and we are atomically connected to those in the universe. All right, we are figuratively, we're not figuratively, but literally stardust. Right, we are stardust. So here it is. This cosmic or stardust comes to 40,000 tons, falls to the Earth daily, and you are stardust. So that means that this stardust is helping you to expand, causing you to expand. All right, get the book Science of Pranayama by Sri Swami 7 Under. Okay, good book. And it speaks about this here. Quantum physicist states that the man is physically made up of the remnants of stardust. In addition, prana means the life breath or life force energy, and is the color of red or blood, like a ruby, red gem. The seat of prana in man is at the heart. Prana is the sum total of the energy that manifests in the universe. It is the sum total of all the latent forces and powers which are hidden in man and which lies everywhere around us. Right? Heat, light, electricity, magnetic of prana. All right, the prana, the 7 under, it says the word prana itself comes from the word pro, meaning first, pra meaning first, and na, prana. All right, meaning the smallest unit of measurement, the smallest unit of energy. Prana also means the first breath, or the most basic unit of the energy. Subatomic particles, stardust particles. The prana is the life force responsible for the forming and the regurgitating energies in the form of matter. All right. We thought this was a very interesting verse here because it says 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and you're not your own? For you were bought at a price. What does that mean? We was bought at a price. It says, therefore glorify God in your body.
I've been wondering what that meant.
Well, what that means is this, is that the price that you was bought is that for you to exist on the physical plane as above must give up his life so that you can live on the physical. Okay? Once again, this is the same what Neil deGrasse Tyson said. The atoms in your body are traceable to stars that manufacture them in the cores. So this is the heart of stars. Your body is made from the heart of stars. All right, this is the key. So it says, and exploded their enriched ingredients across our galaxy billions of years ago. So that means this is how you came into the physical body. It was by way of these cores exploding or imploding and releasing the gas from these from the depths. All right. So what's the price? Well, Christians believe that the verse is referring to Jesus dying on the cross for us. However, as metaphysicians, we understand the stars died for us so that we may live, as previously mentioned. As a star has been born, there's one thing that must happen. A gaseous nebula must collapse. So you're made of detritus from exploding stars. Get over it, or better yet, celebrate it. After what's nobler thought one can cherish than the universe lives within our soul. Not only do we live among the stars live within us. All right, this is from the book Neil deGrasse Tyson, Death by a Black Hole and Other Cosmic Quantities. All right. All right, hold on, y'all.
cute the best. Oh, you never did? No. Well, what's going on? We are small online, so we don't usually look like that. You know they're trying to put microchips in.
Oh, yeah, already. I'm hip to it, yeah. The way I eat or live, I should be good.
I know that's right. Alim, that's all. You got Cash App, got it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Sorry. Look, we just ain't together.
So can you tell me what's in the middle of the cookie?
What we use is
Okay. Okay, I just wondering.
and it's raw and it's organic.
Okay, I follow Dr. Stacy, so today it's kind of cheap taste because I'm using it for people.
Right.
So when I saw them online, my daughter talks about like I live in Charlotte. So when my daughter talks about it, she's like, "Mom, just try it." And I was like, "Okay, I'll try it." So I was like, "I gotta find out what it is." How you
The
about
middle
it?
is awesome. So you're right, you are cheating with it here. We're going to start.
But I make my own. See, I make my own bread, my own tortillas. In Charlotte, I think El-Bey is so it's just like
I know you small too.
Yeah, I do my own. You know, it's like I don't do that at all. Like this is the company that I do, and probably like since I've changed my lifestyle. So I make my own bread. I make everything, ketchup, anything. So yeah, it's a little scary eating that, but I'm like, okay, I'm home visiting, so.
Breaking your fast food. What's your Cash App name, honey?
$TAWANTA P and shit.
With glasses on?
Yeah, and it's a 30-minute sweater.
Black?
Yes, sir.
A one time.
Okay.
I hope you enjoy your food.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Betty Abu said, can I ask you what herb you gave this girl that kept losing blood resulted in low iron. This girl that kept losing blood resulted in low iron. Oh, yummy, honey. Have you tasted it already? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, take your time, take your time.
Peaches. larger than me. It's crazy.
All right, so like we said, 93% of your body is composed of atoms fused in stars and supernovas. Now, we talked about the fact that a cosmic supernova is popping off right now. It's called Betelgeuse, which is Betelgeuse, as it's sometimes called Betelgeuse, as it is known as, in which that is the right shoulder of Orion. Orion in mythology is our star, which is Osiris. Orion in Greek means heaven. So when they talk about the man in heaven, and they talk about God, the man upstairs, you know, stairway to heaven, you know, these type of connotations has a connection to Orion, because we see that the pyramids, the king's chamber, points directly towards the constellation Orion. So we know that Orion is very important in mythology. Well, not just mythology, because when a star implodes or explodes, it guts out across the universe, and it just so happened that Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse did so, and it did it 700 years ago, and the energy is reaching the Earth right now. That's no coincidence. All right, so 93% of the human body is composed of atoms fused in stars and supernovas. Betelgeuse is a star that is going into supernova mode. So the death of a star gives rise to life. So that means that there's going to be life in which is going to come forth from the dead star. These are our ancestors.
Do you think that's why a lot of the major players just went like that road? Like this month, we lost so many.
Right.
And
this is why we left Dr. Layla Africa, Baba Kalindi Ihi, Creed Mutua. You know, they have died of going on because they are the stars on Earth that exploded and left to go into the heavens. And from that Betelgeuse star comes forth ancestors that will come now upon planet Earth.
Little Richard died today.
Huh?
Little Richard died today.
Oh, Little Richard died today. See, Little Richard. All right, I didn't know Little Richard died today. See, there we go. All of this done happened within just a month and a half. Just a month and a half time. All right, so we are walking living stars, breathing stars. 93%. All right. So, what price Christians believe that the verse is referring to Jesus dying on the cross for us. However, as a metaphysician, we understand that stars died for us so that we may live. This is who died for me. Okay? The stars died for me so I may live. For a star to be born, there's one thing that must happen. Hold up. For a star to be born, there's one thing that must happen. A gaseous nebula must collapse. All right? Now, that's deep. Because in Hollywood, they refer to themselves as what? Stars. The media has you hooked, line and sinker, referring to these people as stars. And technically, they are. But they're no more special than you are. In fact, your consciousness gives you an elevation over any thing that they would pretend to or portray on TV. So you are made of detritus from exploded stars. Get over it, or better yet, celebrate it. After all, what's nobler thought could one cherish than the universe lives within us all? Not only do we live among the stars live within us. All right, this is Neil deGrasse Tyson, Death by Black Hole and Other Cosmic Quandaries. This part right here is nothing more than an update. All right, so here, The Divine Spark. Get this book by Graham Hancock. He's the editor, and he says, by weight, 93% of the matter in your body is born in the body of a star. We know that the star turns matter itself into the energy of light. Wait. What did he just say? Now, if the sun is a star, and you are the children of the sun, the children of Ra, the sun worshippers, as they are called us in ancient times, we know that stars turn matter itself into the energy of light. Agents of electromagnetic force. Light informs us of the world around us and brings its energy. Light is the catalyst of photosynthesis on land and in the world's oceans, where the water molecules and carbon dioxide from the air are rearranged into the basic building blocks of the entire vegetable kingdom or world. During this phase or process, the energy of sunlight is stored in plants, as we showed you that is stored in you, and their seeds transferred to us when we eat these basic foods or other animals that ate them. This is the energy that powers life and consciousness. We are made of stardust and powered by starlight. The sun is a star. At least that's what we've been told. This much we know. All right, so this is where you get into the science we'll be talking about, because melanin is carbon, and carbon is condensed starlight. Once again, what is carbon? Carbon is condensed starlight. So this is why 93% of your body, your atomic structure, which is carbon, as in the carbon atom, which is the sixth element on the periodical chart, which has 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons. And so this correlates perfectly with your Bible. Genesis first chapter, 26 verse, and God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. So God made man in his own image, and in the image of God created he, male and female created he them. And God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning was the 6th day. The 6th day. So man was made male and female. Man and woman was created on the 6th day. The 6th day is not the 6th day as in what you see here, evening and morning. It's the 6th element, which is carbon, that you were made from on that day. The element, we get this key from Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast. The beast is the flesh. For it is the number of a man. Not a man, but all men. One man. And his number is 603 scores and 6. 666. Now in the original translation, it wasn't 666, it was 616. Oh. Because they found out that carbon 12 symbolizes 666, which is the rule of the devil, which is of the material plane. However, when you spiritualize matter, as we just talked about, the more sunlight that you receive, fills in that energy gap in which that transforms you from a semiconductor to a superconductor of electromagnetic energy, giving you the ability in order to expand, evolve matter, spiritualize matter. You do that by becoming carbon 7, which is the rule of God. 7 is the number of God. The 7th letter in the alphabet is G, which stands for God. This is why G is in the center of the compass and square within the Scottish Rite, Freemasonry. G symbolizes what? God, geometry, because you're dealing with compass and square, measurements. So carbon 7 contracts, no empty space, has both spiritual and natural capabilities. Right? Why? Because we've come to find out that even the carbon atom is 99.999999999% empty space. So that means that only 0.0000000000000001% is matter. Okay? That's all that is. All right? That's all that is. So how do we receive these energy gaps? Well, we receive it from cosmic energy, the sun itself, the breath in which that you breathe, the food in which that you eat. The food in which that you eat. So this is the full spectrum of energy assimilation. So we once again want to fill in the energy gap. All right? We want to fill in the energy gap because the body, which is the temple of God, the body is the vehicle of ascension. All right? The body is the vehicle of ascension. It feeds the body life, living energy. Once again, to fill in the gaps, you have to receive the energy from secondary means, through the breath, through cosmic energy, through the food, from sunlight, from the various mediums that we spoke about earlier, which is sound, frequency, music, vibration. All right?
How do you know
You will feel energized when the gaps are full. All right? You feel energized when you practice Tai Chi or Qigong. You feel energized. All right? You will not feel lethargic. You will not feel fatigued. Feel tired. You know. You will feel just the opposite. So that's how you know that the energy has been connected. And this is on the walls and the temples of ancient Kemet. Huh?
Oh, sorry. I know.
All right.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
So right here, they show you the picture of a woman and the rays of Ra, which is symbolic to the sunlight, beaming down on her head, on her face, and this looks like some type of ornament on top of her head, which symbolizes the pineal gland, as we were just showing you earlier. All right? Showed you earlier the pineal gland. Ra symbolizes right in between the eyes. That symbol symbolizes that power of the pineal gland, the center of the pineal gland, and it's showing you how the rays of the sun influences the pineal gland. This is what this image is actually showing you. All right? Now, the human aura, bioenergy. The aura is associated with feelings, positive feelings, general created bright colors. That's the auric field. That's the bioenergy / auric field that we was talking about a little bit earlier. So basically, in other words, earlier on in our earthly development, we were light vampires. All right, we still are light vampires for melanated people. All right, this is where the concept of the vampire actually comes from originally. This is why they showed you in the movie that the first vampire was Akasha, who was played by who? Aaliyah. All right. In the vampire movie, I can't remember the name of it. Queen of the Damned. All right. They showed you, and then they also showed you that the most evolved vampire in the Blade movies was Wesley Snipes, who played a daywalker, as they refer to him as. Remember? So these are melanated vampires. Cause earlier on we were light vampires. In other words, we absorb the way that vampires suck blood. We suck prana chi energy. That's the way we used to do that. For hours, we will practice qigong and tai chi. All right, or what we call postures, Egyptian poses, whatever term that you want to refer to it as. We had our asses out in the sun. That's the key. All right. So we was light vampires. There are still many conscious ones now. Any melanated person that applies the teachings of Kundalini Yoga, Tantra Kriya Yoga, Reiki, pranic energy, healing, Qigong, Tai Chi, Aikido, Wing Chun, and etc. are actually light vampires. There is, however, a difference between a light vampire, which is a pranic intaker, and a psychic vampire, which is a pranic drainer. All right? The light vampire absorbs energy with permission consciously from the earth, air, food, water, sun, and cosmos, the universe. While on the other hand, the psychic vampire does not ask permission and is oftentimes unconscious, unaware of themselves, draining other people's energy. And of course, there are conscious psychics, vampires as well. All right, this is the key here. So, here it is. That melanin is able to tap into the spiritual, the mental, the astral, etheric, as you've seen the x-rays as we spoke about earlier, light, colors, heat, electricity, sound, as well as solids. We're able to tap, this is man's response to vibration. We can tap into all of these vibrations. As you see here, sound is 16 to 32,768 vibrations per second. 1,000 million vibrations per second is electricity. 200 billion vibrations per second is heat. 500 billion vibrations per second is light colors. 2 trillion vibrations per second is X-rays. All right. Unknown, etheric, astral, mental, and spiritual. All right. This is when it goes into the unknown realm. All right. As far as, well, we know that everything dealing with the mental, that would be 24 billion miles per second. All right. 24 billion miles per second. The vibratory rate, we do not know. But when it gets to the spiritual, we do have a clue. My teacher told me that it's 77, how do you say it? 77 trillion. I think it says 77 trillion vibrations per second. 77 trillion. So that means anything between from the 2 trillion vibrations per second, which is X-rays, going up to the spiritual. In between that, it would have to oscillate between 77 trillion to 2 trillion of the X-ray. All right. So here we have melanin once again, and it says what? God. All right, which is talking about energy. All right. In fact, is God, and you have the melanin energy, the use of the cosmic energy. You have cosmic energy. It makes you God. So it's cosmic energy in which that makes you God. So the cosmic energy is now coming down 40,000 tons to 300,000 tons of stardust energy, cosmic dust falls to the planet Earth daily. And so in order for you to become God, you must tap into those cosmic energies. Otherwise, you are just a mere mortal. These are the energies in which that makes you immortal. All right. If you read anything about the Tao, the eight ascended masters or the 8 immortal masters of the Taoism system. All right. They get into the science of Qigong and Tai Chi. Matter of fact, Master Li, Grandmaster Li, actually Supreme Grandmaster Li, he lived to be 256 years old. 256 years old. God damn. And what did he do? He said every day from the age of 90 to the age of 256, he practiced his Qigong every goddamn day. Good God Almighty. I think it will behoove us to learn those techniques.
Dr. Lane.
Yes.
Are you familiar with those Nikong practices?
Yeah.
Is that similar to what we're talking about here?
Yes, it is. Very similar. Yes. Yes. Very similar. All right. And we won't get into all of that. All right. So, right here, this is from Dr. Jules Pookram's book, Vitamins and Minerals from A to Z. Range of abilities of the races to absorb different amounts of sun energy. Here it is. She's telling us what you can absorb and what everyone else can absorb. We as melanated people are the only ones that can absorb the whole spectrum. This is why the jealousy from everyone else on the planet. Ignorantly of themselves, they do not realize that this is what is going on. But we are the only race of people that can absorb cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, violet rays, visible spectrum, infrared waves, microwaves, TVs, radio, and electric power. So we're worrying about 5G, which is radio waves. However, we can absorb that shit if we have the proper nutrients. Only if we have the proper nutrients. One of the major nutrients is iodine. Iodine. But they took iodine out the food. And this is one of the reasons why they did it. Because they wanted slow death. Quiet weapons for a silent war. Okay? Silent weapons for a quiet war. This is what's going on. All right? So they took iodine out the bread, out the milk, out the all the sources that we was getting iodine from is no longer in the food supply. Matter of fact, on the box of Morton, it would say does not contain the necessary nutrient iodine. That's on the table salt box. You know, the little girl with the umbrella skipping and shit in the rain. This is what they showed you, right? It is on a blue box. She had on a yellow raincoat and shit, yellow umbrella, and she's skipping in the rain and shit, and it says they're not containing the necessary nutrient iodine. Then she need to skip her ass on by. Because we need iodine on an everyday basis. Otherwise, you develop some serious complications from not having enough iodine. You can develop adrenal gland depletion, which means kidney problems, because the adrenal gland sits directly on top of the kidneys. You can develop pneumonia, your asthma and your bronchitis will spike. You will have problems with mucus in your lungs, sinus passages, hair loss, acne, headaches, migraine headaches.
Is there such thing as too much iodine?
No. They'll tell you that it is, but it's not.
That's what they tell me.
I'm sure. And that's bullshit. Because you got people eating fish 3 or 4 times a day with iodine in it. You know what I'm saying? In some countries. Matter of fact, our iodine was 6 to 8 times the amount that we have now, which iodine levels now for you just to live is 150 mcgs. Just 150 mcgs. That's it. That's just, and this is what they'll tell you. Get your iodine and take about 100 and take 3 drops, and that will give you about 150. That's the FDA minimum. That's the minimum. That's just for you to live. In other words, for you to be a pawn, because guess what? This is about dumbing down America. Iodine is necessary for brain function. That means it makes you intelligent. This is the reason why they use called fish brain food, because of iodine. Not because of the fish, but because of the element that was in the fish, the iodine. So we are the only people that are able to absorb all these energies. As you see, the Hindu, radio wave, TV wave, microwave, infrared, ultraviolet light, X-rays. But they can't do electrical power, and they can't do gamma rays and cosmic rays. Only we can do that. And the Caucasian, damn, they so limited, they can only damn do the visible spectrum. Mongolian, even with them keeping the practice of Qigong and everything going with us, they still can only tap into the microwave, the infrared, visible spectrum, and the ultraviolet light. Can't tap into the X-rays, the gamma rays, and the cosmic rays. They can't absorb it. So we are the only ones that can absorb the full spectrum of light from all the ranges. All right? And this is why. We talked about the melanin. We talked about, and we showed you the pineal gland. What else is about the pineal you must come to the conclusion on is that there are certain things. Let's go. Here we go. All right, there go the pineal gland, right? All right, so let's see what happens with the pineal gland. We told you that it becomes calcified around the age of 7. Well, how you keep it activated is by absorption of energy. That's how you keep it energized. Matter of fact, the pineal gland, called the third eye, is made from crystal. Oh, shit. The third eye, the pineal gland, is made from crystal. The word crystal comes from the Greek word kristallos, which means frozen light. Oh, shit. The pineal gland is frozen light. Oh, snap. There are many spiritual and healing practices that uses crystals. This is why we use crystals for meditation and healing work. And it's an interesting development to learn that we, too, have crystals inside our brain within the pineal gland. As the following article from the National Institutes of Health states, so this is the National Institute of Health. This is not Dr. Alim. A new form of biomineralization has been studied in the pineal gland of the human brain. It consists of small crystals that are less than about 20 microns in length, and they are completely distinct from the often observed mulberry-type hydroxyl pate concentrates. A special procedure was developed for isolation of the crystals from the organic matter in the pineal gland. Cubic, hexagonal, and cylindrical metamorphoses, metallurgies, has been identified using scanning electron microscopy. The crystal edges were sharp, whereas their surfaces was very rough. Energy disperses spectroscopy shows that the crystals contain only the elements carbon, calcium, carbon, and oxygen. This is what happens when they have too much calcium in the body and the body doesn't have enough vitamin D. The pineal gland becomes calcified because one of the elements that's part of the crystals is what? Calcium. All right? Select an electron diffraction and near-infrared Raman spectroscopy established that the crystals were calcite. The crystals are calcite? I got calcite over here. Oh shit, so we got calcite in the brain, in the pineal gland, and calcite outside that we use for spiritual practices. Wow, this is deep. Because as above, so below. As within, so without. That's supreme axiom. With the exception of the otoconia structure of the inner ear, this is the only known non-pathological occurrence of calcite in the human body. It's in the brain. The calcite microcrystals are probably responsible for the they are responsible for the previously observed second harmonic generation in the pineal tissue secretions. In other words, it helps with the making of DMT and pinoline in the body. The complex texture structure of the microcrystals may lead to a crystallographic symmetry breaking and possibly, check this out, piezoelectricity, as in case of the otoconia. It is believed that the presence of two different crystalline compounds in the pineal gland is biologically significant, suggesting two entire different mechanisms of formation and biological function, because one gives you the ability to have what? Production of serotonin and melatonin. The calcite, on this hand, give you the ability to have the DMT and the pinoline, which is known as the secondary. See, remember, they just told you it has it's the secondary harmonic generation in the pineal gland tissue secretions. Studies directed towards the elucidation of the formation and functions and possible non-thermal interaction with external electromagnetic fields are currently in progress. So, they want to know how these electromagnetic fields outside you affects the pineal gland internally. So, right, this was a mouthful, I know. What this is basically saying is that the pineal gland is made from calcite crystals and that the crystals interact with the electromagnetic field originating from outside of your head. So hence now you get the 5G, which is trying to dim, and the attack of the 5G is at the head, the heart, and the genitals. But the head is the area which the 5G is specifically hitting, hence causing. This is why you hold the phone up to your head, you get cancer in the brain, you get tumors, you might get all types of things. Start putting that shit on speakerphone. All right. This quote also states that the pineal gland responds to such external electromagnetic fields and create an electrical charge in what is known as the electricity effect. There it is. These are calcite microcrystals in the human pineal gland. Look. Hexagonal. So the pineal gland is not viewed an image originating from without. It is tuning into all pervasive holographic fields that is immersed within. Yes, it is seeing, but not in the way the human eye sees. The pineal gland acts like a television receiver Oh, there we go with that ultraviolet light, violet, very high frequencies and ultra high frequencies, just like the TV. The pineal gland deals in both of those. So when you have a dream, that's just very high frequency. When you have a vision, that's ultra high frequency you tapping into. Two different areas on the TV. So it acts like a TV receiver that uses an antenna to receive information. Hence, the eye has a different construction than the optical eye. This is the theory. First, there is an antenna. Of course, your hair acts as an antenna on your head. A third-dimensional matrix of crystalline material that decodes the third-dimension holographic waveform. This material is known as brain sand and is a collection of calcite modulars that are distributed throughout the pineal gland, forming an amorphous third-dimensional matrix. The term sand is misleading for a large scale that the grains appear as irregular lumps. All right, we showed you those irregular lumps. This is how they look. This is down here, matter of fact, on the right-hand side, this look like these lumps that they're referring to here, okay? But this is what gives you the ability in order to see into the spiritual world, the spiritual plane, is these sand molecules, all right, until you are literally outside of your physical body. Hence, in the cord, what is called the etheric or spiritual cord, also referred to as the silver cord, is cut. All right, the silver cord is made mention of within the book of Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament in the Bible. All right, so here the term sand is misleading, and so here the crystalline Melanin comprises of the concentrated layers of geometric calcite, apatite, and magnetite crystals are bifringent and may be multifringent in nature. We are referring to the process of how the direction of energy is bent when it encounters a new medium, the phenomenon of refraction. Multifringent means that the energy passes through the crystal amalgam, which will be retracted at more than one angle, perhaps many angles. This is where you get the angles of light, the angelical beings from, is inside of you. If a single beam hits the amalgam, it may be dispersed in many directions, but what if the opposite happens? What if a planar, holographic dark energy stellar wave encounters this particular situation? All right, this is what they're talking about now. Now, of course, that's melanin. The parallel wave may be multi-fractured, focused into a point. Thus, we have determined a method by which a planar, which is a holographic non-local waveform, can be translated into a physical plane, detectable point source. We have a stellar disturbance, which is a parallel field in nature that is then refraction at several convergent angles so that its almost undetectable disturbance is selectively bent and becomes focused to a single point, and a point in the physical realm, thus becoming detectable as a minute physical plane perturbation. Hence, we may have a way to translate scalar holographic information into a very weak physical radioactive disturbance, very weak. This is the reason, this right here, what he's talking about is deep, because they're saying that there's a single source for this wave, which melanin is. For this wave, this source is coming from a source outside of us, in which that is giving us the ability to be in the physical body. However, that reflective disturbance is very weak. We call it, as we just said, the civil cord, the ecclesiastical cord. Some refer to it as after the book. Is also called the cord of life, the cord of life. But when this cord is cut, allegedly your soul leaves the body, all right? Because the physical body is very weak. The radioactive disturbance is very weak. This quality of brain sand crystals is restructured and interpolate cellular holographic information into a barely detectable physical plane point source signal has been developed in the research of Dr. Saskia Bossman. All right, so
that's saying that your soul is transferring information through the, like, kind of.
You got it. Exactly. Okay. Yup, it's transferring the information into the cord to form a physical body through your pineal gland in order to have a physical experience. So the whole soul is not in the body. Because it's the source of entrance. The pineal gland is the source of entrance into the body for the soul. Okay. So right here, nevertheless, according to bioelectrical magnetics, calcite microcrystals in the pineal gland of the human brain, first physical and chemical studies. This is what we've been talking about. This Baconier Lang quote from the paper says the pineal gland converts a neural signal into a endocrine output. It's located close to basically the anatomy or the anatomical center of the brain. A total of 20 glands from human subjects ranging from the age of 15 to 68 were studied. Microcrystals were found in every gland in quantities ranging from 100 to 300 crystals per cubic millimeter of gland. These crystals can be responsible for a mechanical biological transduction mechanism in the pineal gland due to their structure and piezoelectric properties. Using the scanning electron microscopy, SEM, and energy dispersive spectroscopy, EDS, we identify crystals morphology and show that they only contain, once again, calcium, carbon, and oxygen elements. Furthermore, the elected area, this is why the oxygen, that's why when you breathe, the oxygen can raise the kundalini and activate the pineal gland, because the pineal gland has in it oxygen elements. So this is why this happens through the breath, through the breathing. Okay? I'm just saying that because we get ready to go into it in a few minutes. So Kirschvink has shown the presence of minute crystals of magnetite in the human brain, has suggested a mechanism for coupling of microwave radiation to them. So it is no coincidence that 5G is based on microwave radiation. But they are trying to shut down the pineal gland with the 5G. Because they don't want you to tap in. They want you to tap out. That's what this whole thing about this corona shit is about. Tap out. Give up, niggas. Give up. So, let me show y'all something. I wanted to show you, Queen, where's your calcite at? The orange yellowish one. That looks like the, yeah, that's perfect. That's it right there. That's what's inside your brain.
Wow.
Okay, let me come off of here right quick so y'all can see. Well, y'all still can't see. Hold on, let me see. This is calcite. This is how this looks in your brain.
That makes sense.
This is how it looks. This is called orange calcite. This is how it looks. This is basically how it looks in your brain. It has this orange color to it. Orange yellowish color to it.
In the brain it has that color?
Yes. Once again, as above, so below, as within, so without.
Inside the pineal or just
Inside the pineal gland. This is what's inside the pineal gland. This is why they are so fascinated with the pineal gland and trying to find out what the hell is going on.
It amazes me. It's crazy how all these new technologies they've been trying to find out about the pineal since the beginning of time, and they still ain't cracked that code.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Brother Tarek, please, connect me once again if I can yell. Okay, can y'all see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right, so come on. Yeah.
Man.
Okay. So, this is one of the Tibetan, well, actually Chinese, Shaolin monks exercises given to me. I was given a whole set of advanced breathing exercises in which that this is one of them. This should be done at sunrise with the sun is at eye level. Any higher, the sun will be too powerful. All right. This goes into sun gazing. All right. So this is talking about when the sun comes up over the horizon, and it's around probably about 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. You can sit cross-legged or either in a chair. Lean your head back slightly. Inhale through the nose and envision the sun's energy entering your body, circulating down the front of the spine and wrapping around the front of the body via the tip of the spine. Exhale and envision the energy moving up the front of the body and spewing out the mouth in the form of filthy black smoke. Repeat this 12 to 24 times. All right, so
while in the sun, or you just do it inside the house?
you can do it preferably in the sun. Preferably this would be done in the sun. All right, this will help remove toxins and poisons from the body. But you can also do the same thing. Visualize the sun in your mind, because you do have a mind's eye. We just showed you that. And calcite and magnetite, in which that helps with the manifestation of that. All right. Now these right here are what will actually help heal your various organs. All right, so this benefits the liver and the spleen. The liver have over 500 functions in the body. Take the R off of liver and you have the word live. The liver is the detoxifier in the body. So the correct posture is always sit up straight with no curve in the spine, no curvature in the spine. Take a deep breath. Feel full breath in through the nose, nostrils. Hold your breath. Drop your head back. Then bring the head forward, exhaling or expelling breath through the nostrils in a strong manner. So, okay, so you can do that 10 to 15 times. All right, so taking a full deep breath, hold your breath as your head is back, and then bring your head forward and expel the breath in a strong manner. All right, so that's what you want to do, and that helps to rid the body of toxins in the liver and in the spleen. All right. The next is the heart. You will close the right nostril, take a deep breath in through the left nostril, then close both nostrils, hold your breath as long as it's comfortable, let the breath out through one half of the right nostril slowly. This is highly concentrated and therefore is only done 1 to 3 times. All right, some say 1, we put at least maybe 3 times, but it's real simple. Close your right nostril, breathe in through your left. Close both nostrils. Then open through the right nostril, halfway, breathe out. All right, so you would do that 1 to 3 times. That helps to benefit the heart. All right, it removes blockages from the heart area. This one benefits the thyroid glands and parathyroid glands. All right, it normalizes the weight through correctly balanced metabolism. It produces thyroxine, which is very important to burn up toxins. It breaks down and build up tissue. It also controls calcium and sex functions. All right, so you want to sit again And the exact same thing that we just did, except now you alternating back and forth. And you would do this 10 to 15 times alternatively. Open up the right nostril half of the way and breathe out. Now breathe in through the right nostril. Close both nostrils. Now open your left nostril halfway out and breathe out. Now breathe in through your left nostril. Close both nostrils. Now breathe out through the right nostril halfway. Okay, and you can go back and forth, alternating nostril breath technique through that. And that activates the thyroid glands and parathyroid glands. So a person who has thyroid issues, then we just gave them a solution. You can do it through the breath because you might not have no damn pills with you. You might left them at the house or something, and you're on vacation for 2 weeks. This is for the lungs. Okay, so anybody who has bronchitis, asthma, emphysema, any problems with respiratory issues, just get rid of the stale air in the lungs. So close the right nostril with the right thumb, take a full breath in through the left nostril, close both nostrils, and then expel through the mouth in the ha sound, and alternate the same. So here. Okay, so you do that 10 to 15 times.
Is there a count on that one?
No, there's no count. There's no count on any of the ones I just showed you. Just simply inhale in deep as you can, then relaxing, holding both nostrils closed for a certain amount of time, depending on what's comfortable for you, and then releasing it through the alternating nostril in which that you need to. So how to greatly increase your healing energy is what we want. How to increase it. All right, so most people take their energy or lack thereof of it for granted. They're aware that there's some people who have more energy than others, but don't basically know how to, they basically have occasional twinge of envy and seldomly give it any thought. It never occurs to them to wonder why this should be, or if there is something that they can do to correct it. Yeah, you or anyone can greatly increase the amount of energy you normally have by basically being available to use it. And basically there are many techniques. Here is one, and basically you can sit upright with your back straight once again, right? Taking a deep breath and count to 5. This is now is a counting. So, right, so you would breathe in for 5. Slowly relax and let the air out for a count of 10. And we're going to do this 10 times. Now, we are going to do this one 10 times. All right? You see? Okay. Now, he says, while performing this exercise, you can close your jaw firmly and clench your hands into a fist. So now we're going to try it this way too and see what happens. So keep all the body relaxed except for your hands and jaw. As you inhale and out, think of to yourself that each breath you're bringing in a great surge of energy and power, which you are storing within you. All right, so now take your fists and put them on your top of your knees, and let's try this breath this way. So breathe in for 5 counts, then breathe out for 10. Okay, so that's one way in order to increase the energies in the body, store the energy inside of you. Remember the 40,000 tons to 300,000 tons of stardust energy, cosmic energy falls to the planet Earth daily. You are a melanated being. You are a light vampire. You are supposed to take in your share as a child of God, because the sun freely gives of itself to you on a daily basis. All right? So you take this energy in through this technique and store it within you. All right? When you have an overload, you release this energy by way of this technique. Okay? So this is showing you the deep abdominal breathing exercise, what is called the Dantian breathing. So now we want to sit in our chair once again, or lay down. You want to breathe in and out through the nose. Inhale and visualize a golden ball of energy like a small sun grown in your lower dantian. The lower dantian is your navel area. It's your navel area. And as you exhale, visualize the golden ball intensify its glow. With each breath, see the light growing brighter and brighter. You can do this 36 times. Inhale and exhale is 1 time. So 36 inhale exhales. Practice for at least 3 to 5 minutes. 10 minutes is ideal. Throughout the day, take 1 or 2 Dantian breaths to recharge your internal energy. So we talked about now storing the energy inside of you. Where will you store it at? You will store it in your navel. Why? Because your umbilical cord was the connection between you and your mother when you was inside the womb. You received your nutrients by way of her, by that way. So this area now is cut, so that means now you have to depend upon the universe to give you your energy into the same area that your mother once gave you your energy, which is your navel. So now this is called Dantian breathing, lower Dantian breathing, or deep abdominal breathing. Okay, everybody got that? So this is where now you will store the energy. When you store the energy into your lower dantian, because you have your mid dantian, which is your heart, and the upper room, which is your upper dantian, which is your third eye. When you store the energy in your lower dantian, which is in your navel, what happens is that you gain immortality. You live longer. You live healthier. Okay? So we want to visualize, breathe, inhale, exhale through your nose, but you want to visualize as you inhale, visualize that golden ball of energy, and as you exhale, intensify the glow. All right? There you go. That around. All right? So let's begin. We're not going to do 36, but we'll do at least 10 so you can see how it feels. If you want to, you can do like the guy that's over here and take her hands and put at the navel area. If you need to, that will help as we, all right? That will help for some. You need to. Normally, the left hand for the male, the left hand will go over the right hand, and for the female, the right hand will go over the left hand. All right. When you're pulling down the rays of the sun, you can have them looking as if they're spiraling, and as they spiral, you want to move them, spiral them in a clockwise position going into you. All right, so the same way that a clock goes, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it goes in this direction. It goes in this direction. Okay, so that's how you want to see it as it goes into your navel. The golden rays of the sun. It is said that the rays of the sun comes down in the left hand rotation, counterclockwise. In order to extend your life force, you must turn the energies from left to right. So hence you want to come down clockwise in a right hand spiral. That's the reason why we're doing what we're doing. This is one of the techniques in which that was allowed, that Grandmaster Lee was able to live to be 256 years old. This is part of the Qigong system of Qigong. Remember, energy follows thought. Okay. So, some say, such as Manti Chi and many other Qigong practitioners say that is about 1 inch or 2 below the navel. We don't say that. We say that it is the navel, because that is where the umbilical cord was attached to. The energy can descend down into about 1 inch to 2 inches below based on how bright and how large that you make the ball of energy. However, the storage place in which that you would bring the energy into specifically is the navel. Okay? This has been one of the problems in the teachings, is that people has been confused about where to store the energy. All right, it is in the navel. It is through the navel. All right. This is the end of class for tonight. Are there any questions? Any questions?
Sir, on the lung exercise, did you say it was you hold down the right nostril to start it? Yeah.
To start it. So breathe in.
Or I know you can't see me on camera, but I'm doing it though. So you breathe in through the right nostril first. Okay.
Now breathe in through the right nostril. And close both. All right, so that's how you do that. You alternate back and forth with 10 to 15 times. So that means basically it's 10 to 15 times each.
Dang, 10 to 15
all right.
times each. Okay.
So after you do these particular breathing exercises, it says that it's like if you did 2.5 to 3 hours of aerobics. All right. I just wanted to tell you all that.
All right. Okay. Will you be able to send these stills or?
Yeah, I'm gonna send the stills to everybody. Mm-hmm.
It's a great class.
Yes. All right, appreciate that.
Thank you.
You have any questions? All right, we're gonna see everybody here. I don't know what day we're gonna do, but oh well, tomorrow. Yeah. We got tomorrow.
Yeah,
all right, tomorrow. All right, well tomorrow it is then.
Thank you, Sire. We'll see you in a few hours, man.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.